Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Riza and this is a presentation on ratios, and today we are going to create a scale model of a rectangular prism. So in order to do that, we're going to need a few different materials, including a ruler. We're going to need a marker or a pencil, some tape. If you have a glue stick would work great. And we're going to take some measurements and we're going to see how accurately we can keep the ratio of measurements on a box. So the definition of a ratio is basically the relationship between two numbers. So if we have a beverage and we pour half of the glass full of iced tea and the other half full of lemonade, we have created a mixture that is a 1:1 ratio. This means that there is an equal number of lemonade and iced tea. We can also use ratios to describe the relationship between 3D objects. So if I draw a rectangular prism and I draw a smaller rectangular prism, we can say that these are both related as a 2:1 ratio. Now, in order to make this assumption, we would need to know some measurements, including the height, the width, and the length. Again, the height from the bottom to the top, the length across, the width across, and the length. If these numbers share a relationship of 2:1, we would say that they are indeed proportionate ratios. So again, if this were, let's say, a height of 6 inches, a width of 8 inches, and a length of 10 inches, we know this is a 2:1 ratio. So 1 is half of 2. So we're going to look for the half of these three numbers. Half of 6 would be 3 inches. Half of 8 would be 4 inches. And half of 10 would be 5 inches. We can double check our answers by multiplying each one of these numbers. Again, this is our relationship between these two shapes. So this is going to be 2 times the size of this one. 5 times 2 is 10, that's correct. 4 times 2 is 8, that is correct. And 3 times 2 is 6, which is also correct. Those are to scale. Now, it's important when we are reading our measurements to look for anything that seems out of place. If we have a side that is 8 inches, a height that is 10 inches, and a length that is 1 foot, it's important that we first convert our feet to inches. Otherwise, it's going to get messy and you're not going to be able to divide and multiply your amounts correctly. So we'll continue at the next part of this lesson, which is going to be volume. Now, we understand the relationship between two numbers can be written as a ratio. This ratio will be a 1:2 ratio. That means our first object will only be represented half as much as our second object. Or you could also say that our second number can be represented twice as much as our original. So let's do another rectangular prism. we're gonna make a funny little box here. It's gonna be kind of like your cereal box. So here's our 1. We'll give it a height of 12 inches, a width of 8 inches, and a length of 3 inches. Now, if you're gonna have to figure out whether you're going up or down. So in this case, if this is our 1, our smaller one, how many more times is 2 than 1? It's gonna be 2 times. So everything we have here, we're going to multiply by 2. That will give us a box that is 2 times the size of the original. 12 times 2 would give us a height of 24 inches. 8 inches times 2 would give us a width of 16 inches. And a length of 3 times 2 would give us 6 inches. Now the formula to find volume requires you to know the height, the width, and the length of your object. In this case, it is equal to 24 times 16 times 6. So in order to complete this project, you're going to find a rectangular prism, any sort of box that's not a cube. You'll have a length that is slightly different than your height. That's how you know it's a rectangle. Now, you're going to take the measurements. You're going to measure the length, 5.5, height, 5, and you're going to take the width, 1 3/4, and you are going to draw those out. And once you've gotten your measurements, you're going to divide those measurements by 2. I had original measurements of 5.5, 1.5, and 5 inches. Now I divided each one by 2, and I got a length of 2.75, a width of 0.75, and a height of 0.25. That's going to be for our half scale model. So if you notice, I should have a length of 2.75, good, a width of 3/4 of an inch, and a height of 2.5. This is a perfect, not perfect, but a near perfect model or ratio of the original crayon box.